guys, Dave here, talking about my house again. You know, before all the other videos I've made that you guys have seen, I've been fairly calm, but now I'm pissed off. And this is not good. You guys need to see this. This is, I mean, I've showed you some stuff that was bad. This is over the top of everything else. Let's just say this, I'm lucky my house is still standing, okay? Let me show you what we found today. Remember I showed you this light and how the switches on it were screwed up and they weren't, you know, I had three-way switches in here and they were supposed to be able to turn off on either side of the room. Well, let me show you what my electrician discovered today when we took this stuff apart. All right, let's go. Okay, so first of all, the light, this light here, there's a switch there and a switch here, right? Okay. So we got these switches over here. We pulled it apart, and it's supposed to have three-way switches in it. That's what it had in it. When I paid an electrician $150 to wire this, there was three-way switches in here. Well, here, look at this. These are single-pole switches that were taken out, and my electrician knows one of the guys that was working over here, and he happened to talk to him about it, and he told him that Matt Drake changed the switches and shoved the red wires back into the wall and just left them there in the socket, okay? So he took my three-way switches out and put one-way switches in here. That's why my light turns on and off with just a switch and you can't go from side to side, okay? Now, the red wires are loose. Now look at this. See that? That red wire is hot. What about that red wire? Hot. So both them red wires have 120 volts going to them. And they were shoved into my box and left that way. All right, let's go over to this side. You notice again, one-way switches. Red wire's hot, red wire's hot, okay? So Matt Drake took out my three-way switches and put one-way switches in here, and then he shoved these hot 120 volt wires back into the electrical box without even, I mean, they aren't even cut. The insulation's still gone off of them. That's a hot bare end of wire right there. It's hot. And this one here is the same way, and so are those over there. So these wires were literally bare 120 volt wires inside my wall. And it could have burned my freaking house to the ground. Now this really pisses me off. This is ridiculous. So Bob, what do you think is gonna happen if you leave wires inside of a box like this?
Eventually it'll catch fire.
Eventually it'll catch, there you go, right there. This guy's an electrician, he knows what he's talking about. Eventually it's gonna catch fire. So if I hadn't asked him to look at this and I would have just left it alone, my house probably would have eventually burned to the ground. But yeah, this is the kind of work that Matt Drake does. Do you guys want him working on your house? Seriously? Do you want him to come to your house and do this? Do you want your house to burn to the ground? Really? This is what you call professional work? Do I not have a right to be pissed off? Do I not have a right to take this guy to court? This is asinine. It is, I mean, the other stuff he did was horrible. This is beyond that. This is now something that's going to cause my house to eventually burn down. And then I lose my house, I lose everything in it, and then I got to deal with, you know, insurance and all that. Because somebody's stupid and they take my three-way switches out because, oh, well, this isn't wired right. And they put one single pole switches in there and leave hot wires bare exposed, attached to nothing inside my wall. How stupid is that? Am I pissed? Yeah, I'm pissed now. This is crap. There's no excuse for this. I'm glad that I had him look at this because who knows, a week, a month, a year, I don't know. Eventually it would have caught fire and burned my house to the ground. And this is the kind of work that Matt Drake does. You want him working on your house? Do you really? Do you? You better think about it. Because this is what might happen to you. So we need to get this guy to stop working on people's houses because he is a danger to this area. He's a danger to anybody whose house he works on. He doesn't know what he's doing. He has no clue. He cuts corners. He lies. He cheats. He steals. He takes advantage of everybody he works on. So you better wake up, people, because if you let him work on your house, especially if he does electrical work, don't be surprised when your house burns to the ground, okay? Don't say I didn't warn you. I hope you're listening because this is serious. You know, it's one thing to screw up someone's house and to rip them off. It's another thing to intentionally put them in a situation where their house could burn to the ground, and you don't even care. You don't even tell them. You just leave it that way. He didn't even take the freaking time to even cut these wires off, tape them off, do nothing. He just shoved them in there just like that. Literally just like that. That's how we pulled them out of the box. Bare ends, not taped, not cut off, nothing. That is insane. How in the world can you do that to someone? How in the world can you call yourself a professional and do that? It is ridiculous. Man, I don't even know what to say at this point. I really don't. I really don't know what to say. You know, there's my toilet out of the floor. Here's my floors. We've put polyurethane on them, and it's still reacting. It's still not laying down right, so we had to sand it down again. We had to go get the sander that I rented last week, rent it again, and sand the floors again. And now we've called the company that made the polyurethane, and what they said is I need to let the floor sit and breathe for a while before I try to put more polyurethane down, because here's what happened. I don't know how well you guys can see this. So we decided to do a test area, okay? We decided to do a test area before we, and my lights just went out because my electrician's actually gonna, well, I gotta have three-way switches, so I don't know how we're gonna fix this. Anyhow, we decided to do a test area, this entryway, before we did the whole house. Well, I don't know how well you guys can see this. I don't know if you can see it or not, but see, yeah, see all those spots on the floor? See all those lumps? All those lumps, from what I've been told, are the polyurethane. When you put it down, it's still reacting to whatever's in the wood underneath the polyurethane. The stain that Matt put down, I don't know, whatever. I mean, I mopped the floor with a damp mop with water and just plain water. I read online you can mop with water and a little bit of vinegar. I didn't use vinegar. I just used plain water and a damp mop, not a wet mop. And then I was concerned with the oil that I showed you guys. It was coming up through the floor. So I went and got some mineral spirits, and I told you guys I was going to do that. And of course, that's $75, $25 a gallon for this crap. So I went and got this stuff, and I bought 2 brand new mop heads, and I poured a gallon of that in a mop bucket, and then I put the mop in there, wrung it out real good, and mopped the floor lightly with mineral spirits. Okay, I used less than a gallon to do my entire house, which is 600 square feet. So I didn't use very much mineral spirits. We let it dry for over 24 hours before we started putting the polyurethane down, but we're still getting this reaction. And you know, it's I don't know what it is. If anybody's ever done floors before and you've seen this, it's not an air bubble. It's more like the polyurethane is balling up and creating these little bumps in the surface. And I called the people to make the polyurethane, and they basically told me the best thing to do is just let this stuff dry. This here in the entryway, because it's got extra coats of polyurethane on it, we're probably going to have to let it dry for at least 6 months and then sand it down and recoat it. Out here, where we have not put more polyurethane on, we sanded it down. We're going to probably let it dry for at least a month and then try to recoat it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let it dry for about a month. And then, of course, you know, I can't live in my house, okay? I can't live in my house during this time. I mean, I can live in here, but I can't put my house together. So now I've got even more time that I've got to sit here with my doors torn out. I can't put my trim up. I can't put my furniture in here. So now I got to sit here even longer and wait for this stuff to dry, because I don't know if there's still oil residue from the stain that Matt put down here, because he was trying to cut corners, and he wanted to sand the floors down so the original finish was gone. So he was cutting corners, so he stained my floors to hide the fact that he hadn't sanded them all the way down. So now I gotta wait another month at least, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait a month, and then I'm gonna clean this little closet here, this little, between the master, that's the hallway, and this is the master bedroom in here. I'm gonna clean this little closet here, and I'm gonna put polyurethane down on it in a month and see how it looks. Hopefully it'll be okay. But man, I'm telling you, this is this just gets worse and worse. It's just, where is it going to stop? You know, is my house going to survive? Well, you know what? If my house burns to the ground, insurance company, you need to go after Matt Drake, because he's the one that caused it. Because I never had any problems with my electrical until now. So I hope to God it doesn't happen. I've never had a house fire in my life, and I know it's very devastating to people, and I feel for anybody it happens to. But now I have to hope and pray that it doesn't happen to my house. I don't know. You know, I guess maybe I should hire an electrician to come in here and check all my circuits and every single plug and every single outlet and whatever to make sure my house isn't going to burn to the ground because of all this crap that was done to my house while I was gone. You know, I was 1,000 miles away, and this guy goes to my church, okay? He goes to my church, him and his wife, and I found out that they have past dealings that they've had to run from because they've had other problems in their past. And they're here, they're living off the grid out in the woods in a shack, and they're basically hiding. And now I know why. Because they're criminals. Because they steal from people and they lie, and this is the kind of work that they do. And if my house burned to the ground, you think he'd come pony up and pay the money? No, he'd just pack up his stuff and leave. Because he's done it before. He's taken advantage of other people, he's ripped people off, he's defaulted on loans, and he just packs up and leaves when it happens. He doesn't care. This is the kind of guy who's living here and who's might be working on your house. So you better think twice before you let Matt Drake work on your house. I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't let him build a chicken coop for me now. I wouldn't let him touch anything I have. I wouldn't let him build a doghouse for me. It's ridiculous. This is not professional work. It's dangerous work. All right, guys, I'm done with this rant. I hope you watch this, and I hope you share it with everybody, because everybody really needs to know this. This is dangerous stuff, people. This is really dangerous stuff. I don't want to see somebody's house burned to the ground. I'm just glad I discovered it, or my electrician discovered it. Thank you. So, all right, guys. I'll keep going. I don't know what else I can do. Talk to you later. Bye. All right, here's a quick follow-up to this video I just made. So we were looking around the house. We came in here in my master bathroom that's all screwed up that I got to fix. And here's a box of materials that extra stuff that I had for Matt to use, okay? We start digging through this box. Here's all my brand new three-way switches I had in the living room, thrown in this box. So he takes these out, puts a single pole switch in, and that's his way of fixing my ceiling fan and my light in my living room. I mean, seriously, this is what Matt does, okay? If he doesn't understand something, if he doesn't know how, well, I don't really understand this. And I told you guys, I wouldn't want to wire a three-way switch because I don't know how to do it. Well, guess what? Matt doesn't either. So what's he do? He takes the three-way switches out, throws them in this box, gets a regular single pole switch and hooks up to my light and leaves hot wires inside my box, bare hot wires. Seriously. I mean, it's just stupid. Anyhow, I just wanted you to know that's where my switches are, in this box, in the bathroom. Because he didn't know how to deal with it. So he just took them out and put a one-way switch in there. There you go. Just a little addition to the end of this video. So I really hope you guys, if you're watching this, you know, I'm obviously if you live somewhere else, I mean, you'd probably feel for me, but, you know, I've had people tell me you ought to start a GoFundMe page to help pay for this, but I don't know. I'm just not, I don't know if I should or not, but I'm just not really that kind of person. But anyhow, if you live in this area, I really hope you watch this video, and I really hope you share it with a lot of people, because people here need to know. Seriously, they really do. All right, guys. Thanks again. Wish me luck, because I'm going to need it. Make a comment below, please. Subscribe to my page. Give me a like. It just helps me. Thank you. Bye. All right, it still ain't over with. So we decided, for safety's sake, to pull the ceiling fan out and look at the wires up here, and it's a good thing we did. Because, let me get up here on this ladder. Not very easy for me to do. All right, trying to get my way up here. Okay, so here's the wiring from the ceiling fan. Okay, here's These 2 wires here are the original wires, hot wires that came into the box. And these 4 wires here are from the 4 switches. Now, if you notice, see this? So he has cut these wires, the ground wire, the bare wire, and the red wires. He's cut them off so short that we had to try to force more wire out of the walls to be able to lengthen these. See that? Those 2 are cut. You can see on that one, he actually left the ground wire on this one long, the bare wire, but he cut the red wire off. So he just cut all the wires and left it that way. And apparently he must have had the red wire connected to something in the box down there because they were hot. So, you know, and of course they were hot down there. They're not hot now because we've got the power killed, but they were hot up here too. So, gotta get down off this ladder now. So there you go. Just more incompetence, more dangerous situations, more stupidity. I mean, seriously, there are 14 wires in that box up there. There's 2 hot coming in from the breaker panel, and there's 12 from the switches. And he's got hot wires hanging out in the open there, bare, just hanging there. And that's a metal box. That box, that ceiling box there is metal, okay? If them wires would have ever touched the box or touched each other, I mean, it would have started my house on fire. This is the stupidity. I mean, this is the bottom of the freaking pit of stupidity. It's just unbelievable. Anyhow, I'm just so frustrated right now, I can't even hardly even focus. So I'm going to stop this video, but I'm about ready to just break down and start bawling. It's just, I mean, it's costing me more and more money to fix this stuff. And it's just absolutely insane. Anyhow, I appreciate it. Maybe I should do a GoFundMe. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do at this point. I have no idea. I can't even live in my own house. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.